Episode 404 of Bucko Banter. We are down on the farm. We're going to talk everything happening in the Pirates organization. You're listening to the Bucko Banter podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Order steak by the plate, sending case after case. Run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snakes.
Welcome back to another episode of Down on the Farm. We are going to be talking about what's happening down the Pirates minor league system. But first, Adam, let's get into some news because we've got some draft guys debuting and we've got some new faces, right? Some guys on IL, some new faces to talk about. I'll get us kicked off real quick. Tuesday, outfielder Shaylen Polanco was demoted from Altoona to Greensboro. This is a guy who we saw in the spring breakout game, the very first one against the Orioles a couple years ago. And then infielder Johan De Los Santos was assigned to the FCL from Bradenton. I think that's to make room for a lot of the draft guys we saw debut in Bradenton this week. And right-handed pitcher Sean Sullivan, who we haven't seen all year, is a college arm that has been moving quickly. This is his first pitches of the 2026 season. I believe I don't know if it was Tommy John, but he was out with some type of arm issue. He began his rehab assignment with the Marauders. Can you take us through the rest of the week, Adam?
Yeah. Wednesday, right-handed pitcher Noah Takas and right-handed pitcher Roland Portundo were released. Trey Phelps makes his debut. Let's stick on this one because we've talked about Jared Jones being that steal from LSU in the past, that college bat. You're getting the same thing out of Georgia here with Trey Phelps, Scott. That swing is electric. The way those hands get through the zone quickly and extended, he put some power into one. Was it today or yesterday that we reposted?
I think it was Friday. I posted a video for Friday because, I just keep watching the video. His hands are so explosive through the zone, man. That was absolutely crushed there in Bradenton. And I don't think power is ever going to be an issue with him going through the levels.
This is the type of guys that you find later on in the draft, those college position players that can really contribute or make their way through the system. So really pumped for Trey Phelps. Hopefully we can get him on the show, man, because I'd love to talk to him about his game. Friday, right-handed pitcher Alessandro Urcolani, Eddie Reinders, Edglin Perez were moved to the 60-day IL. Second-round pick Chris Rembert was assigned to Bradenton. Wyatt Sanford was activated off the IL by Greensboro. And then Saturday, Termarr Johnson left the game with a gruesome leg injury. Do we have any more updates on that?
I haven't seen anything. I actually asked Beasley about it yesterday in the press box if he had heard anything from Indianapolis. It's safe to say that his season's over. That looked pretty brutal. He was taken off on a cart in an air cast. Wish him nothing but the best. I know the season hasn't been what he wanted it to be. Got off to a really slow start, finished around the Mendoza line this season. You could see signs of him starting to, get used to AAA here in the last month. And it's unfortunate his season had to end so quickly.
Well, here's the tough part about this, Scott. You got to protect him.
Yeah.
And like you just mentioned, not a great year. He's starting to feel it a little bit. And I think the problem with Termarr, and I remember Aram talking about this on the call-up podcast, is you were taking what was going to be a sweet swing mixed with power and patience. And hopefully that all combines together and you get an all-around solid hitter. We saw him sell out a little bit more for power throughout his career, and then the average would go down. It's like, okay, well, if he's going to be this type of hitter and he can hit for power consistently, so be it. But you really haven't seen those numbers progress throughout the years. And I love Termarr. We've had a good relationship with him. We've had him on the show a couple of times. We've talked to him off of the show. Really good guy. I think he's an excellent clubhouse guy as well. His teammates seem to really like him. But he's not getting his A swing off as much as you would like because of that patience that we're so used to and his eye at the plate where sometimes he gets himself deeper into counts than he needs to be, right? And then he starts to try and protect instead of just trying to look for a singular pitch to try and do damage on where he doesn't feel like he can do that. And then he's just fighting off. And then that's really contributing to the overall slash line. That's not what you want to see from this type of player who ultimately could be pigeonholed to a position as well. So it's going to be a really interesting offseason. They're going to protect him.
Yeah,
right?
I would
Like
say
he's
so.
going to be protected. But what do you do with Termarr Johnson moving forward? Obviously, this is going to be a 2027 Pirates team that probably needs a second baseman.
Yeah,
Nick Gonzalez might
Nick
go over
Gonzalez,
there, but
yeah.
there's a position open. So you'd hope by now, and I know he's still young, that he could fall into his own, but this is just another setback.
Yeah, I mean, just given how everything rolls out this offseason with the CBA and whatnot, I don't know what it's going to look like in terms of non-tender tender deadlines and Rule 5 protections and stuff like that. I don't know how that's all going to play out. I mean, I know we went through this recently, which is sad, but that's going to, let's say in a perfect world, they move forward as like a normal offseason. There is no CBA discussions. Going into spring training, he would be in serious consideration. Like he would get a lot of reps at second base. And I do believe that I mean, given how brutal the injury was, let's see, hopefully he's not out too long, but let's say he comes back mid off season, is able to be ready by spring training. Yeah, he's going to be a guy that gets meaningful reps in spring training. So with that all being said, wish him the best and a very speedy recovery, because he's an awesome human being. We've enjoyed chopping it up with him. And, you know, I think he still hasn't found his top gear yet.
Let's stick on Indianapolis because Mitch Jebb has been on an absolute heater here. Everybody's favorite player, Mitch Jebb, 8 for 20 this week, Scott. 5 runs, a double, 2 triples, 2 RBIs, 5 walks, only 4 strikeouts, a stolen base. He's hitting 351 right now in Indianapolis. 351 for a guy coming up who you don't really know where he fits positionally, but kind of just that overall utility guy that the Pirates love. He screams someone that they would love to get on the roster just to play anywhere and everywhere all at once.
I mean, I think he's a candidate for September. I think there's a few names you can look at. Whitgriff, Mitch Jebb brings that positional versatility that, you know, like you said, they love to roster. So it has been a pleasant surprise seeing him take that jump, because he didn't get off the hottest start in AA. And then he got moved up to AAA. He had an injury setback, and then he returned and just kept on fire there in Indianapolis. So the positional home is still a question mark, but I think with that being said, he has a future as a super utility player in the bigs.
Let me ask you this: DJ Jebb, DJ Mitch Jebb, up in Pittsburgh, does he utilize those DJ skills after every single Pirates win? How does that work?
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, right? He's had that reputation, and I think he'd continue on into Pittsburgh. I, for one, would love to see it.
I think the logistics are much tougher.
For sure. For sure.
Because the game ends, you get in there, Don Kelly does his thing, and then the media is in there. So that's like a quick game ends, 5-10 minute set.
Yeah.
And then you're done. So I think that's really going to test out how much he really wants to be here, right? And how much he's going to contribute to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, I think he'll find a way. He'll adjust to the situation and maybe make
good players always do.
Yeah, that's the key to a good player. Let's talk about some pitchers here, because Hunter Barco had a good week, and obviously you expect him to be on that list for a September call up, if not sooner. We've seen him a couple times in Pittsburgh, but it was nice to see him go 6 scoreless on Sunday in a 2-0 win. Only 3 Ks, but the ERA is down to 4.12 on the season. Only 1 hit allowed. Gotta love to see him go the distance and maybe, emerge and show that part of himself that was so good last year.
The only other thing of note in Indianapolis right now, and I know this is down on the farm, we want to focus on guys that are really down on the farm, but a rehab assignment with Oneil Cruz is not going 100% great. I'll put it nicely, right? He went 0 for 4 on Sunday, 3 strikeouts. This is the concern with hand injuries, right? Is one, getting your timing back is always difficult to do after missing an extended period of time and getting used to the velo again. But grip, right? Getting comfortable and then getting those hands extended in contact and being able to make your way through the zone, getting that type of leverage that we have grown to love from Oneil Cruz and those launch angles. That's going to be extremely difficult for a guy that's missed all this time to expect him to get back to what he was doing, because he was playing really, really good baseball
Yeah.
before this. And, it was a breakout season for O'Neal Cruz. I thought he was starting to play better defense as the year went on. The power, the hitting off of lefties, which this team could desperately use right now, was better than most left-handed hitters. And unfortunately, you run into this injury, and it's one of those ones where you can't really rush it back because it's more of a feel thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a guy I'm going to be watching closely this week. Hopefully he gets another couple starts and gets more comfortable, and we get to see him in Pittsburgh soon, because, we could definitely use him. But like you said, hand injuries are never easy to come back from. Usually takes some time. Let's go to Altoona, Adam, because the Curve were they were in Erie playing the Seawolves, Tigers AA affiliate. And we're going to talk to Cy Nielsen a little bit later. You're going to hear that conversation. He joined us from Erie. That was fun. Great guy. But this week, big story was Lonnie White. Stays hot. Like, he's just been on an absolute tear. He's been our hit of the week the last 2 weeks. This week, he did not slow down. 10 for 19, a double, home run, 3 RBIs, 3 walks. He's hitting 301 now. This is a guy that I think you give him a couple weeks in AAA to finish the season.
Lonnie Longball.
Lonnie Longball.
Couldn't happen to a better player, man, because the athletic ability was always there. You know how we love these guys that are multi-sport athletes coming out of high school. Penn State recruit opted the right opt out, as Scott would say.
We saved him.
We saved him from the cult that is State College. But challenge the guy a little bit, right? This isn't somebody who is on the 19 years old and you're trying to develop. He's had a ton of injuries throughout his career, and I think this is the opportunity where you can see him rise throughout the ranks and finish him in AAA and see how he does. And that's a really successful year for a guy like Lonnie White, man, because if he could actually turn out to be someone in this system where it's not a trade piece, or the potential might be there, but you never truly realize it, that's just a diamond in the rough situation where he could be a really, really good pro if all of the tools come together.
Yeah, I think he's going to be highly coveted after this minor league season, especially if in a Rule 5 setting, if he's not protected. So he's a guy who's got a higher floor than a lot of guys, even on our 40-man. So, I would love to see him tested even more, because he's taken the challenge each step this year after only playing like 70 games in his first 3 seasons. He's definitely been a great story, as we've mentioned many times. A couple other names I want to mention: Titus Dimitru continues the power surge. He has 15 homers on the year in Altoona. And then Robert Hassel III, who was claimed from the Nationals, former top prospect, was in the Juan Soto deal from a first-round pick. He was assigned to Altoona on Sunday, went 1 for 5 with an RBI and a stolen base. Just another low-risk move, a name to watch here throughout the last month of the minor league season.
We'll go to Greensboro. A couple of names just at the top of the hour. Jared Jones, as I mentioned, in the category of guys coming out of college who add a lot of potential and could rise throughout the system. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him finish the year in Altoona. 4 for 20, 4 runs, a home run, 2 RBIs, 5 walks, 5 Ks, hitting .315 still. And I know this is Greensboro, but I think it's time to challenge an SEC bat in another place, right? Because obviously he's had success at all levels now. Let's see him in a bigger ballpark, a little bit more consistent velo, better stuff in order to develop his game. Because with these college guys, you don't want them to sit around on the shelf for too long. Like, you want to realize whether or not it's going to be someone that's going to contribute sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think he's probably ready to hit AA, right? He had a little bit of an injury hiccup here in the last month. He's back now and still hitting the ball well. He's hit over 300 almost all season long. So a guy that's probably not tested by the Greensboro environment anymore. Another name to watch, Jack Anchor from the pitching side. There's not a lot of arms that we typically highlight in Greensboro. It's usually bats, but Jack Anchor has been a bright spot. He went 6 2/3 on Friday, gave up 6 hits, only 1 earned, 6 Ks. He's been really solid. And Tony Blanco Jr. has come back from his injury, continuing to hit the long ball. He's got 18 on the season. And then lastly, Dylan Palmer is, I think, a stolen base or two away from 40 on the season. Him and Johan De Los Santos have some of the most stolen bases in all of the minor leagues.
We go down to Bradenton. I want to highlight Wyatt Sanford in his rehab assignment because he hit 2 home runs on the week. And that's something that we talked with Wyatt before the season started on what he wanted to improve in his game. And it was adding more weight, getting a little bit of leverage, and driving the ball out of the park. And talk about a guy who put in the work and then executed on it. This is somebody who has all the talent in the world. I thought he would be highly coveted in the trade market. I think the injury definitely prevented that a little bit of people getting a true look at him. But I think this is someone where the Pirates might want to explore positional versatility here a little bit, because obviously he's a great shortstop, glove first type of guy. If that's going to be locked up in Pittsburgh, why not try and see him in another position, whether it be third base, second base, or center field?
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of these shortstops have the ability and they're athletic enough to play other positions. I think you still keep him at shortstop and you maintain that versatility. But if he could be a true top 10 Pirates prospect and you want to develop the system even deeper, maybe he's able to play a little bit of everything and he can make his way to the show sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you continue developing him as a shortstop, right? Because that's best for his development and path forward. But you definitely keep that door open, because I think he could play many positions, not just shortstop. He could play in the corners. He could play center field. He could play second or third. So I think it's the bat that you focus on now, getting that K rate down a little bit. But you've definitely seen a power uptick there, and he's been a really positive story. And being able to hold on to him this trade deadline was huge. Another guy I want to mention is Richard Ramirez. He's a catching prospect, another one who's been hitting the ball really hard as of late. He's got 14 home runs in Bradenton, hits the ball really hard. This is a name that I think you're going to hear a lot more. And then lastly, Dylan Mathiasen. I just learned this like a couple weeks ago. This guy was drafted last year, like 14th round out of Liberty. Montour grad. He's a Pittsburgh guy. So he just returned from injury through his first big league innings recently, or should I say minor league innings. 3 innings this week of scoreless baseball, had like 4 Ks. Looked pretty solid, man. I like the arm a lot, and I think there's some maybe some reliever upside there.
Why don't we take a quick break here, Scott? Before we do, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Farrell Weaver and Oaken. Scott didn't commit any crimes this week, but if he did, he'd call the fine folks over at Farrell Weaver and Oaken, because they have you for any criminal representation or appellate representation. Because when it matters most, experience matters. Call Farrell Weaver and Oaken for a free consultation today. Scott, do you have a hitter and pitcher of the week?
Yeah, I'll get us started with the pitcher this week. I'm going to go with Hunter Barco. Hunter Barco, 6 innings of scoreless baseball, only 3 Ks, but really solid in a 2-0 win. Something you want to see from a potential starting pitcher in the big leagues.
Our hitter of the week is Mitch Jebb. It could have been Lonnie White Jr. again, but Mitch Jebb, as I mentioned earlier, 8 for 25 runs, a double, 2 triples, 2 RBIs, 5 walks, only 4 strikeouts, and a stolen base. He's hitting .351 in Indianapolis right now. So well-deserved Bucko Banter hitter of the week. Scott, we're going to take a break right here. Then we'll be back with Altoona left-handed pitcher, Cy Nielsen. Joining us now on Bucko Banter is pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, Cy Nielsen. Cy, welcome to the show, man.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Cy, let's take it back to college ball. You played at BYU. What was it like playing at one of the most picturesque backdrops in all of college baseball?
Funny enough, I actually grew up probably 15, 20 minutes down the road. So I've been there my whole life, and yeah, it's great. I love the mountains. I love hunting, fishing, like getting up in the mountains. That's what I do in the off season. But I didn't really understand how I guess blessed I was to play in that scenery until probably my first off season of going to Pirate City, whatever. coming back, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this place.
Bradenton's
These
a little
mountains.
bit more flat than BYU. It's a
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Sai,
Especially
coming-
yeah, everywhere else too. People are, the mountains are right here. They're cool. Nope, these are hills compared to the Utah mountains. So, but yeah, I love
100%.
them.
So coming out of high school, you were drafted by Cleveland and then you opted to go to college. How difficult was that decision? And then to bet on yourself and then ultimately get drafted in a higher spot?
It was difficult. Obviously, looking back, you always wonder what would have happened if this happened. What would have happened if this happened? But ultimately, my decision to go to BYU was awesome. I met my wife there. She played softball, and I think that obviously my life would be completely different. But I'm so happy that I made the decision I did to go to BYU. I feel like my life is definitely for the better because of that choice.
What do you think the biggest jump was going from BYU straight into pro ball?
Hitters definitely don't chase as much. We were playing a lot of good competition. The guys that we had at BYU, the pitchers that I was in the bullpen with, we had three. I think I was the fourth. We had three other guys get drafted, and so that was a really good competitive atmosphere all the time. Whether it was practice, game, that kind of thing. And as far as hitters go, obviously it's the best players from every college team go to professional baseball. So yeah, the chase goes down. They don't miss as much. They hit the mistakes better. But aside from that, it's the same game. The strike zone feels, well, I guess now that it's automated, I guess it might be smaller than the college zone, but that might be the only difference, I think.
What's it like going from Utah to Bradenton? And you mentioned there's guys from all over that played college ball, but also a ton of high school kids, a ton of international guys. Sometimes it's a little bit of a culture shock when you're there and there's 17, 18-year-old kids that are also professional baseball players. What's that transition like?
It's interesting, like it's definitely not to get explicit here, but like the first time that you shower in the locker room with everybody else, you can tell the high school guys that are a little more nervous than the college guys. I feel like that's a big difference. They're
Yeah.
all but that's a big difference. And the international players are great. Specifically like the Latin players, they love having music on. And at first, guys can get annoyed because it's not something that happens all the time. But as soon as you kind of embrace it and be like, you know what, like these guys are thousands of miles from home, like they're just trying to enjoy their time. It makes it a lot easier to get along and kind of mesh that bond with these international players.
So what's in the arsenal right now, and has that changed at all since you entered pro ball?
Yeah, so probably the first 2 years or so, it was just fastball and slider, and that got me, I mean, through a year or two, and then we started realizing that you need a little bit more. So I added a cutter that kind of plays more as like a gyro slider, I guess you could say, but it's that middle pitch between a fastball and a curveball. And then I've constantly been working on a changeup, but it's difficult. It's the pitch that I haven't figured out my whole career. College, high school, even like I can throw it sometimes, but making it a consistent pitch is the thing that we've been grinding on the past couple months.
How often are you getting in the lab with Pirates coaches or even in the off season with whoever you're training with, working on pitch design and shape and watching video in order to get those grips down and see spin rates and all that fancy stuff that we have access to nowadays?
Oh yeah, it's really good, but it also can be really, I don't want to say, I think bad's the wrong word, but it can be
Overwhelming?
oh yeah, overwhelming. It can be every time that we go out and throw a bullpen, there's the Edgertronic, the cameras, the TrackMan, the this, the that, the fifth, everything. And sometimes, yeah, that's great, but other times you just have to throw the pitch to the catcher in the strike zone, and that's what matters. You could have a pitch that moves 60 inches this way and that way, and hitters can still hit it. So I think it's just comes down to executing that pitch um, to where you want to throw it, and I think that's ultimately what wins you ball games and gets guys out.
So you've pitched most of your career out of the bullpen. Is talk about the difference in mindset coming out of the pen versus starting.
Yeah, so I started at BYU. Didn't go very well. I was young, whatever. And then coming out of the bullpen, it's definitely a whole different ball game. We always make fun of the starters. You guys have it all country club. You get your routine down. You have so many days off, whatever. The bullpen's fun though. It's definitely for grinders. within a few seconds you get a call, hey, you're in the game, and the next hitter, you have 5 pitches to get ready. Can you get ready? Yeah, you can. I mean, you got to say, yeah, you got to be ready to go in the game. And it's fun. That's the adrenaline rush that we love about this game. I think of the uncertainty of if you're going to go in, when you're going to go in, and constantly staying ready to go in.
Mentally speaking, baseball's a difficult game. Failure is a massive part of it. You're obviously going to go through your ebbs and flows. How do you deal with the lows of the game in order to keep yourself consistent and mentally in it?
Yeah, it's definitely tough, especially in these long months of July, August, when it's hot. As I mentioned earlier, I'm married, and I think that that's been the biggest blessing for me of having my wife with me constantly. It's my wife and dog travel every road trip. They're at every game, and I honestly think that is one of the best things that helps me through that. Give up a few runs, whatever the bad thing may be. I guess I'd say most of the time. Most of the time, it's great to go home and talk to my wife about it. But the bad part about her playing softball, she knows a little bit too much. I throw this pitch, she'll be like, "Why'd you throw that pitch in that count?" Listen, honey, just give me a hug. Just tell me it's all right. I'll be all right. But no, that having them the past 2 years with me constantly. As soon as I get home and get in the truck, my dog's always happy to see me. I think that's the best part, and same with my wife. So yeah, I think that for other guys it's different, but for me, that's how I stay afloat.
Love that. Love that. You talked about the mindset in the bullpen in terms of getting ready quickly and, getting ready in 5 pitches or less. Preparation wise, how much are you looking at analytics, other hitters, charts before the game when you don't really know who you're going to face? Like, what is that preparation like off the field before the game?
Yeah, so the beginning of every week we kind of go over a few different hitters, and there's been times where I've personally gone in and kind of trial and error. Oh, I'm gonna go through everybody. I'm gonna have a whole lineup card, see what this guy hits bad, this guy hits good, whatever. I've tried that a few times, but ultimately it comes down to where we're only facing 5, 6, 7 the lineup only once. It kind of comes down to I know my strengths, and I'm gonna put my money on my strengths over the hitter's weaknesses, I guess, and just kind of sell out for that. But the catchers definitely have a plan of how they're going to call the game, and obviously pitch to pitch, we'll kind of read the hitter, the swings, this, that, and the other of how they're reacting to what we're throwing. But I ultimately think that it's, kind of selling out for what I believe in and what I do best. And good luck.
Yeah. You've had, speaking of the catchers and the preparation, you've had some great guys in Altoona this year, Derek Berg, Easton Carmichael. Now, what's it been like to throw to those guys, and how do they help you on the mound?
It's awesome. A good catcher. I feel like there's a saying, I don't know exactly what it is, but catchers don't really go noticed until there's a bad one. And our catchers here have been fantastic. Calling games, when you can definitely tell when you're on the same page. You don't have to shake. And when they do their homework, I feel like our catchers are really good at that, as far as just knowing hitters inside and out, what they are really good at, what they're really bad at, what we should avoid, all the different things that kind of go through that.
Speaking of catchers, you also have a system full of arms, and not just any arm, but you also have relievers and starters. I feel like they're deep at both. What's it been like coming up in a system full of arms? You guys compete? Is there friendly competition? Do you feed off each other? What's that like?
Oh yeah, there's always competition. We're all good buddies down in the bullpen, and I guess the starters rotation too. But down the bullpen, we're always having competitions. Who can throw the hardest, who can strike out the most guys. Just kind of that thing to help us get through these long months of July and August, just to make sure that not to say we're taking pitches off, but to keep you involved in every single pitch you throw, every throw we throw during catch play. Does that make sense? Every throw we throw during catch play. Just things like that, hit me in this shoulder, hit me in this shoulder, hit me here. Just different things like that to kind of sharpen each other up.
We ask everybody this side, but is there a player either through your time in the organization or now in Altoona that you look at and you're like, man, this guy's talent is off the charts, or he's an incredible teammate, or this guy's going to make it to the show?
Yeah, there's one guy, and I'm going to go off the radar. I'm going to go off the beaten path here.
Let's go.
One of my really best friends in the org, Justin Mice, is my pick to be a big leaguer here soon.
Pittsburgh guy too.
Oh yeah, Bethel Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a He's a beauty. He's one of my favorite people, and now he's really good. I think that he's my pick to debut soon.
They say the two best arms to come out of Bethel Park are Justin Mice and then Mason Miller. That's what I've heard. So
that's what he tells me too. That's what he tells me.
okay. Side, most important question, probably the hardest question you're going to get in an interview.
Uh-oh.
Altoona pizza, yes or no?
Okay, so funny enough, I had never had it until last week. Last week, my
You
first time
actually tried it.
I actually tried it. Yeah, so somebody brought it to the clubhouse, and I was like, you know what, I have to try it, and it wasn't bad. It was not as like I don't know. I didn't know. I mean, don't even get me started. There's some people that don't eat certain pizza because they're from this part of the country. Get out of here. It's pizza.
Are we talking about
no.
Callan here?
We're talking about Callan. We're talking about Joshua Loshorn. We're talking about Anthony Salmido. I could keep going.
Oh, so
Nicholas
Meadow, for sure.
Domkowski.
Yeah.
They don't eat certain pizza because it's not from where they're from. Get out of here. But no, it wasn't that bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like a great pizza, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
The power of a craft single, right?
Kraft single, sliced bell pepper, and cheese. Oh wait,
It's more of a visual
that's a crap.
thing. Yeah, it's like if I look at it, I'm like, this doesn't look appealing, but maybe the taste is okay.
It's one of those things. This is how I described it to my family, who also asked me a similar question. This is how I describe it. You go down in the kitchen about 11:30 midnight, and you're like, pizza sounds good. Don't have pizza. How can I make this as close to pizza as possible?
That's perfect.
But yeah, it wasn't bad.
description.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay, great. Well, Cy, we'll get you out of here. But last question for Pirates fans that may not know you or they're not familiar with their game. What type of player are they getting with Cy Nielsen?
I think they're getting a grinder. You know, I love playing ball. I love competing. I love dominating. I love to get after guys, see what I can get into.
Love that. Love that. Well, hey, Cy, thanks for joining us. Best of luck rest of the season, and hope to see you in Pittsburgh soon, man.
Appreciate you guys. I hope to be there soon.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates. And